Okay, so this is my first try at being a YouTuber, and today we're gonna talk about this book, which is very cool, and the author is Jim Collins. So it's a book about business, and it talks about how companies go down, and they start big, they start strong, but gradually they fall, how the mighty fall. So here we can find a few reasons the biggest and most powerful companies went into periods of crisis, and eventually they crashed down. So let's see a few notes here. Okay, so the first one is this phrase, which catched my attention because I think it's very smart. When the rhetoric of the success quotes, "We are successful because we do these specific things," replaces penetrating understanding and insight, such as "We are successful because we understand why we do these specific things and under what conditions they would no longer work." When everything goes well for a company, there might happen the temptation of saying that everything was pre-calculated, premeditated, and everything was going to function. But in most cases, the reality is that luck plays a very important role in the achievements and the results that the company gets. So yeah, the smartest leaders and businessmen understand the role of luck. They are not convinced that it's 100% their merit if their results are great. So second key point, when an organization grows beyond its ability to fill its key seats with the right people, it has set itself up for a fall. So the other concept here is very important in the sense that if you scale too much, the problem is when you don't find the right people to fill the key seats that you need to get filled. For example, if you start expanding too much your retail branch, but you can't find the people to sustain that growth, then you will not be able to actually control very much of what you're selling, and maybe the quality will deteriorate, and it won't be great for you, for your brand, and for your image. So basically, the book, the key concept behind the book is that there are 5 stages of decline. Stage 1 is a hybris born of success, and then we get straight into stage 2, which is an undisciplined pursuit of more. Then stage 3, it's a denial of risk and peril, when companies start to overspend and overinvest in their maybe not even in their key activities, but they try to expand into different markets, and maybe they are not the best in those markets. So the problem is that if you're not the best, you will get crushed by competition of people and companies that are already in that market, and they know their stuff. They know really how to offer the best products and services. So then you get into stage 4, which is grasping for salvation. You try to reach out to shortcuts and to try to avoid the inevitable, which is your fall, which it doesn't always happen. So maybe not 100% of the time, but it's very difficult to avoid it because you got into a path of inertia, of negative inertia, that it's dragging you down. So you need to avoid it, and how you avoid the crisis, the failure, at the end is not by taking shortcuts or by maybe reducing quality of your product, reducing costs, or increasing like only the marketing but with no substance. But you need to build better foundations. You need to do an audit of every aspect of your company, from the financial side to the marketing stuff to the employee management, HR, and every area of your company. And you need to understand where it's flawed and where it needs to get stronger and to get corrected. The author, Jim Collins, it's a powerful and best-selling author, and he made a lot of masterpieces. He wrote Built to Last, Good to Great, How the Mighty Fall, which is this book right here. And the author conducted a long research of a lot of different companies to try to understand which one were the ones that really got themselves into positions of power and position of strength, but then they gradually reduced their competitiveness and they failed eventually. So one of the ideas, as I pointed out, is that there is no evidence of complacency, which means that a company usually does a lot of stuff and it's not complacency the reasons that triggers the eventual failure. So the main problem here is that a company maybe does too much stuff and it gets distracted from its main activity and its main purpose, and eventually costs go up and profits go down, and this is how you get yourself into trouble, because or maybe even from a liquidity point of view, you're investing a lot into different activities which are not bringing enough profits as of now. So you reduce your liquidity, then you get into maybe a crisis and your profits start to go down even for your main activities that were profitable, and so you get yourself into a position of low liquidity and low profit, which is a bad way to end up. Yeah, so overreaching is a problem for companies. For example, a lot of companies that tried to extend themselves outside of their main area of competence. I don't know, maybe we can talk about Apple. For example, Apple, the main strong business was the iPhone, was the hardware. They tried to experiment with the services side, but then it was not optimal. Okay, so other notes. Any exceptional enterprise depends first and foremost upon having self-managed and self-motivated people. So this is very basic, but it's important. You need people that are able to self-manage and that are motivated. So if you need to motivate your employees, to motivate your people, maybe you are on the wrong side of how to do business, how to do stuff, because you don't really need to motivate people if they are well compensated, if they believe in what they are doing, and if their job fulfills them. So if you need to motivate them, it's a problem. Okay, so every person in a key seat should be able to respond to the question, what do you do? Not with the job title, but with the statement of personal responsibility, which means that the goal is to let your employees know what they are important for, what are their activities that they are responsible for. So you want your employees to be really fulfilled by what they're doing. You need to give the importance they need. So they need to feel important for your company, because they are your allies. They are not only like your paid salaryman, right? You're allies to fulfill your dream and the common dream of building something that is going to last, is going to create a beautiful product or service for the world, for the other people at the end of the day. The best leaders we've studied had a peculiar genius for seeing themselves as not all that important, recognizing the need to build an executive team and to craft a culture based on core values that do not depend upon a single heroic leader. The best leaders are not egomaniacs, but on the average, a good CEO, a good businessman is not someone that is very egotistical, because you wanted to perceive reality as it is, objective. Like objectivity is very important. You need to rationally analyze how things are going for your company and to see also what's your fault and what are your limitations, so you understand how to improve yourself and eventually your company. When facing irreversible decisions that have significant negative consequences if they go awry, what we might call launch decisions, the case for launch should require a preponderance of empirical evidence that it's safe to do so. So the idea here is that if you face a difficult decision that it's irreversible, you need to think a lot about it, because if it is irreversible, you can't go back and fix it. On the contrary, if a decision is reversible and it's not that important, you should go very fast and you should experiment a lot. This is the same concept that Jeff Bezos always talked about with his employees and in interviews. There is the quadrant of decision making, which is if the decision is reversible, generally you can experiment faster and you can be involved in the process of trial and error. If the decision instead it's irreversible, you need to slow down your decision making process, and you need to really assess what are the danger and the possible consequences, positive and negative ones. Reorganizations and restructurings can create a false sense that you're actually doing something productive, which means that if your business is flawed and it's not working, usually doing a complete restructure of everything is not the solution, because maybe you are doing something correct and maybe you are doing something wrong. So you need to have a more iterative approach to how to build a business and understand that the things that you needed to change, you needed to know what things you need to change and what things are already working. So to do that, you can't just do complete 100% restructurings every month, every year. It's impossible, if not. Which is the signature of mediocrity is chronic inconsistency, which is goes back to the previous concept which we talked about already. Because if you are consistent in what you're doing, you have the possibility of improving. If you continue to change things, you don't get the feedback that helps you understand what you're missing and what you're doing wrong. Having an almost righteous sense of one's values and purpose, such as "we are the good guys," can perhaps make a company more vulnerable to stages 1 to 3. Which, let's go back to the beginning of the book and let's revise which were stages 1 to 3. So stage 1 was the hubris born of success, and stage 3 was the denial of risk and peril. When you think you're the good guy, you are more at risk of falling to the hubris born of success and to the denial of risk and peril. So you're at risk of denying that you are incurring in some problems in potential danger and failures. Active acquisitions based on 3 disciplined decision criteria. So these are the criteria on which you can base your acquisition process when you need to acquire different branches or different companies. So it's very high level, but let's read them. So the first is don't overpay, of course, because it makes no sense financially. Then you need to stick to business you know, because otherwise you can't really judge if you can't really assess if the acquisition makes sense for your business, for your current business. And the last one is you need to ensure that you have cultural compatibility. So you can't just turn things around 100% and acquire brands that are not culturally compatible with your current. Other small thing is think first about who and then about what. So this is one of the few remarks that the author is writing from the previous book, which is Good to Great, and I'm currently reading also that book, and I will do another video to talk about that book, which is very interesting from a business point of view. So the idea of think first about who is that you need to select first the people you want to work with, and then you can think about what to do, because people are more important than goals and ideas and stuff, because the world and business is based on people first and ideas comes next. And the last one is that is also talking about people and says that disciplined people operating with freedom within a framework of responsibilities, this is the cornerstone of a culture that creates greatness. So the 3 criteria are people, freedom and responsibilities, and this is it.